Whale Coin Talk community. My name is Noah. This is our first AMA of today. We are joined here by the MetaEngine team. Representing them is Alex and Vashnak, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah,
gentlemen, before we get started talking about the project, give us a quick background of who you are and how you got to be working in the crypto space today.
Alex.
Okay. So Vashnak, while we wait for Alex. Okay, cool. He's back.
He's back.
Oh, was I offline?
Yeah, thank you. Yes. So just really briefly, I wanted you to give our audience a quick background of who you are, and how you got to be in the crypto space today.
All right. So my name is Alex Shalash. I'm the co-founder of MetaEngine, and this is a new venture in.
So we keep.
I guess there's some issue right now.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if he's getting. I don't think he's getting booted from the channel because he's still in the voice chat.
Yeah.
There might be a connection. So Vashnak, while we wait for Alex to figure out his connection, how about you give us a quick background of who you are and how you got to be working with the MetaEngine team today?
Yeah, so I have been looking after the entire marketing of the MetaEngine from past 4 months, from the day it kicked off. Talking about MetaEngine, it's a one of a kind gaming platform right now, right? I mean, you won't find the kind of features. Yeah, Alex is back.
Yes, I changed to a different mic. Is it better now?
Yeah, so
perfect.
you sound great. I just want you to hopefully you don't get kicked out or don't lose connection.
Right. So shall we try again?
Yes, sir. Go for it.
Yes.
Give us a quick background of who you are, how you got to be in the crypto space today, and then we can start talking about the project.
Right. So
and I think we lost Alex again.
Anyway, I'll continue where I left. Yeah. So I have been looking into the marketing of MetaEngine since the day it commenced. Before that, I have been into crypto space and marketing different projects from last 2.5 years. So talking about the platform itself, it's one of a kind platform, right? I mean the features that you see with MetaEngine is offering to the gaming developers and the community is something which is not being offered on the other game development or game engines right now. Yeah, Alex is back.
oh,
Yeah, Alex, are you having issues with your connection?
My internet connection is stable, but for some reason I get kicked out from the group.
You're getting kicked out from the group. Did you complete the CAPTCHA when you joined the main chat?
Yes, with the number, yes.
Okay. So if one of our mods, let me see if one of our mods can make you an admin temporarily and have you bypass that so that you're not getting kicked out. Let me. Alex, you still with us?
The same issue happened again.
All right. So, we're gonna have one of the mods make you. Alrighty, so here, Vashnak, just for time purposes, because we are 10 minutes past the hour. While Alex figures out his connection, I do want to start talking about the project, and it does seem to me like you know quite a bit about it yourself. So while Alex sorts that out with our mods, give us a quick explanation of what GameFi is and what some of the advantages of developing video games over the blockchain are for our audience members that are new to crypto.
I guess Alex is there. I guess he's the best person to answer it.
Okay.
I am.
Hello.
Alex? Yeah, anyway, I'll answer your question. Like you were asking about that how world is changing and what exactly is the industry about, right?
I'm
Yes.
Yeah, so what I was asking is, for our audience members that are new to crypto or aren't so familiar with this niche of the space, can you explain what GameFi is, and also what are some of the advantages of developing video games over the blockchain?
Yeah, so to be honest, GameFi has gone into one of the hottest trends in the blockchain gaming right now. It's a massive industry. I mean, it's close to $170 billion global video game market, and there have been a lot of technological advancement and development in the GameFi world. So so let's say gaming plus blockchain, and it has taken it to a next level altogether, right? The games have become more engaging than what they were earlier. That's and to sum up, that's what a gamify is. So with this, it comes up with a lot of features like you can code, you can trade, you can have additional activities. So gamify actually allows gamers to earn revenue from the game assets. So let's say you have a game asset in your game, you can stake it as an NFT. You can make you can make it as an interoperable asset. So the games run on a blockchain's distributed ledger, enabling players to have a verifiable ownership of the virtual items, even when the game is off. So that's how the real metaverse is working. Even let's say, even if you are offline or not in the game, there's a different metaverse or the world, even then running at the back of the in its own space, right? So the GameFi offers a play-to-earn model which rewards players with their financial incentives, through which they not just play but also grow their characters inside the game. These games are more so talking about blockchain. It's these games are integrated with decentralized finance, or which we call like DeFi, and it also offers tools such as farming, algorithmic stable coins, and this most importantly enable the players to generate revenue simply through playing the games.
Great, Vashnik, and thank you for that breakdown. And really briefly, can you tell us how difficult it would be for a team of developers or even a team of enthusiasts to build a video game with your engine? So would they need to have prior experience publishing video games, and can the average Joe just hop on and start building?
I guess Alex can answer this question.
Can
Alex?
you can you guys hear me now or not?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
we can hear
we
you.
can hear you.
Oh, I had to change the computer, so hopefully this will maintain stability. Quickly, I heard some of the answer that Vaishnav gave regarding regarding GameFi. One of the kind of bigger underlying trends we see is that the gamers, the players, have actually are going to own some equity in the games that they are playing. So the transfer of value that is going to happen between, let's say, current status on the gaming industry, where game publishers own almost everything, right? That is going to change to the situation where gamers will own the skins or own the characters that they buy inside the game, and will be able then to trade them at the later time. Am I
Understood.
still fine? Just checking.
Yeah, no, you're here. Connection is great.
Good. So to answer your question regarding the development, so we are trying to develop as easy to use tools, but because our underlying technology is an MMORPG engine that allows you to build huge open worlds, planet-wide in scale for millions of players simultaneously. You still need a little bit of skill to do this. But there are plenty of jobs, let's call it this way, that are available when you want to participate in developing the game. So there are artists, there are people that are actually building the levels, or as we call them, world builders. You have scripters. So if you want to become a scripter, then you need a little more of a, let's say, a programming background where you understand how to write commands in the language. But if you have a talent as a creative person and you can create beautiful 3D assets that can be placed in those worlds, or an avatar or stuff like this, then there is obviously a job for you too. So it's not a simple answer to say, yes, it's easy, but because there are different complexities of jobs within, and at the end of the day, there are plenty of testers, right, that are going to participate. And those are basically the gamers that are trying to find where the game is broken, what is not working.
Understood. That makes perfect sense. And I know you guys aim to cut time and money by anywhere from 3 to 9x via your end-to-end integration. Can you tell us exactly how MetaEngine is different from other game engines or other building engines that are currently out there in the traditional gaming world?
So MetaEngine, if we look at the history of MetaEngine, because it didn't start just 6 months ago, I have been involved on the gaming infrastructure side since 2009. And we have been, during pre-MetaEngine launch, we have been providing the backend technology and development platform for MMO games and virtual worlds and open worlds and so on. So we've built on a lot of very deep experience in the industry on that side. So there are two other very well-known engines that are used today to develop games. One of them is called Unity, and the other one is called Unreal. Both of them are great tools, but each one of the engines fits for a specific purpose. So if you want to build, for example, a great first-person shooter type of game, and with great graphics, then Unreal would be your first choice, because that's their specialization, and they've invested 20 plus years in developing that tech, and they have amazing games obviously built on that. If you want to build a mobile game or a small-scale game, then Unity would definitely be your preferred choice, because they have developed that multi-platform support with tools that are relatively easier to use and relatively straightforward. That's why probably more than 60% of games, or even more, on mobile platforms are developed on that engine. MetaEngine, on the other side, is fit for real large, highly scalable worlds. So from a gaming point of view, when we look at the Metaverse, for example, we don't see it as this kind of virtual VR internet, right? As a gamer, we look at it and we think of just a bunch of interconnected MMORPG games that are underpinned by digital asset ownership and security that blockchain provides. So
understood. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So when you look at it from that point of view, then the choice, if you want to develop a metaverse, right, then the choice is relatively clear. You should go for a MetaEngine in that case. If you want to develop a smaller experience, then you look at the other engines. The reason why we actually have that claim of very significant savings is based on the fact that using MetaEngine to enable for massive scalability, game developers don't need to hire their own networking specialists, server specialists, database engineer. They do not need blockchain engineers. They just need to have to channel the creative talent to build the experience, and all the rest of it is taken care of by our platform. That's where huge savings come through.
Understood. And Alex, I wasn't aware of a engine tailored specifically for building MMORPGs. I mean, this is my favorite genre of video game. I played World of Warcraft competitively for quite a few years. And I'm curious to know if your engine was used in the traditional gaming world at all to build any prominent MMORPGs that we've heard of.
Yes. So the engine that MetaEngine is built on top of or integrated with is called Hero Engine. And that engine was built as actually a response to the success of World of Warcraft. So the development started in 2001, wow. And the two of the flagship games that were built using our engine is the first one is Star Wars: The Old Republic by Electronic Arts.
Yes.
And the other one is the Elder Scrolls Online by ZeniMax or
Beautiful.
by Bethesda, right? So those two were built using the underlying technology that MetaEngine is using as well.
Awesome. I love to hear that. Fan of both those games, although I didn't play them as avidly as I played WoW. However, I'm curious to know now, I'm going to come back to kind of the building process. How heavy of a lift has it been to bring over MetaEngine and integrate it onto the blockchain?
So why don't you ask me about this by maybe 6 to 8 weeks when we're done with the process, because we actually so we are currently undergoing that integration. It's all about processes. One of the advantages that we have with MetaEngine is that it is fully cloud-based engine, which means when you work with it, it's like working with Google Docs versus when you work with some of our competitive technologies, it's more like working with Microsoft Word at the end of 90s, where the only difference is that you save the work that you do in the Dropbox-like environment, and then somebody else can pick it up. Within MetaEngine, you actually you can bring in 100 of your friends into that same large environment, and in a collaborative way, start building. You could be doing landscaping, I could be laying down the roads, somebody else will drop buildings, Vashnav could be dropping characters and animating cars running around and so on. And it's all done in real time. Everybody can see. It feels like being inside the game, but having all the game developer tools available to you to expand and grow it and change it.
Kind of like a nicer version of Minecraft?
Oh, yes. Minecraft is, so Minecraft is great in its flexibility, but it still has a lot of limitations, right? Based on style, based on the choice of many things. Here, you can build any kind of game, right? It can be a cartoon game. It can be a photorealistic game. It can be open world that looks like our real world. It can be basically fantasy, MMORPG style game. Anything that the artist puts their mind to can be built using our technology.
And Alex, I know you said for me to ask you in 8 to 12 weeks or whatever, but if I'm being fair, if you're being fair, exactly how long in the future can we expect the release and the full functionality of this engine?
So there are two answers to this. So one of them is when the blockchain functionality is going to be available for game developers to take advantage of that. And that we are looking to get it out to the market within 4 months, roughly. That's only on the blockchain functionality side, where you'll be able to log in using your crypto wallets and basically use the assets. And that's the vision in the future that we're going to build out. Use the assets that you already own, your NFTs, bring them onto the platform so game developers might want to use them. If you are just an asset owner or an asset creator, right? But on the other hand, there is the engine side of it, right? The actual technology behind. And that is a kind of a continuous process. So the developers can jump onto the engine already today, and they can start building the MMORPG type of experiences. And over time, as we deliver new functionality, that functionality will be available to them within the environment. So similar to when you are working in Google Docs, you probably do not know majority of people do not know which version of Google Docs you are working on, right? The only thing you know is that you are working with the latest available one. The same thing goes with our underlying technology. The changes that are being done and the improvements and everything, they're happening gradually in the background, and you as a developer simply take advantage of them. Every time you log in, new features might pop up.
Got it. And a beautiful analogy, by the way. It made it click in my head. How many active developers do you currently have building on the engine and developing it?
Right. So on the MetaEngine side, we literally started marketing this proposition at the beginning of March. So we're 2 months into the process. We've been in touch with a lot of developers. We have currently 3 projects that are in prototyping. Those that kind of have certain deadlines that they want to move faster. We also realized through these conversations that many projects actually are looking for developers to join them because many of them were more, if I were to use kind of and our internal joke, when we look at the whole GameFi industry, there is a lot of fi, but very little game. And it's because they have amazing financial models and other ideas that they have implemented of how to make them attractive from a player point of view that is going to accumulate some of that wealth through gameplay. But they do not have enough game developers participating in this. So we have, on one side, as I said, there is a huge demand. On the other side, there is the problem is supply of talent. And the other thing is the unfortunate war in Ukraine has totally restricted access to that market. And I don't know if you know, but there was a huge game developer community in Ukraine that was out doing a lot of outsourced work for global development, for global game developers. So that has put a stop for now almost 3 months, right, on that process.
Yeah, and we're certainly aware of what's happening over there, and our hearts go out to those that are affected in Ukraine. Alex, really quick, I wanted to ask you, based on what you just told me, what sort of tools and services do you guys plan on offering current blockchain games that are currently building, that have good tokenomics, that have good economics, but they don't quite have the tools to make the graphics enticing enough or sleek enough or make the gameplay fluid enough to attract a wide array of gamers?
Right. That's kind of what you just touched on is a mission, why the MetaEngine came into this new space, is because we have seen a lot of early games that have offered relatively limited experience because they were just trial projects in a way, or others that have grown very fast, but they call it the professional level of what you expect in that industry that Vaishnav mentioned, almost a $200 billion game industry, the largest entertainment industry in the world, right? Bypasses movies, music and everything else. Our mission is really bringing professional level tools to the market, providing that high level of integration, because traditional game developers are skeptical on one side and not very familiar with the blockchain development tools. That's kind of on one side of the spectrum. On the other side of the spectrum, you have the GameFi developers that are great at developing, as you mentioned, those tokenomics, great models behind, but they do not have enough experience in actually building games. And you need to have both, right? So we are looking at the space, and our mission is really providing them with the tool set or the whole platform that, kind of end-to-end platform that allows them to bypass the difficulties of integration. It was similar with an MMO space, right? Within MMO space, we provide from the first moment that you get into the game development environment, your game, even though it can be just a sheet of just a checkered looking paper, right? Your game is already multiplayer and is already also multi-developer collaborative environment. You don't need to do anything or enable anything extra to achieve those things. And the same kind of philosophy would bring to the GameFi Metaverse world, where all these teams with amazing ideas will be able to take advantage of the tools and really implement those ideas as quickly as possible, bring them to the market.
Very exciting. Very cool. Alex, and I know you guys are building your own multiplayer game. I wanted to jump in that just in a moment here. But before I do, are there any other games that are currently being developed on MetaEngine?
Yes, so there are. I cannot mention those at the moment because
Okay.
we haven't made public announcement. But there are 3 projects that we are currently working very closely with the teams. Those are third-party teams that we're working with on the MetaEngine side. So
Yep, sweet. And so with that said, tell us about the Earthtown, and correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but Earthtown Metaverse that your team plans on releasing. Is this the same thing as a multiplayer game, or are these two different things?
So the name is Earth Twin, and
Earth Twin,
although
okay.
it's almost spelled like town, but so this is one of our in-house projects that we're currently looking to put together. We've started building it out. The idea behind that is to have an MMO open world with that looks like our planet, that is fully immersive. So unlike some of the projects where you see virtual real estate being sold, but actually they're not immersive in any way. In case of Earth Twin, it will be a full immersive environment where you jump in, you run on Times Square, you from time to time there will be a game. I don't know, let's say once every now and then, let's say once every 4 hours, there will be a zombie apocalypse, and every other avatar around you will turn into zombies, and you'll have to fight those. And then it will go back to normal life, and people will own virtual land. People will own different objects within that space. So it's kind of a next, we believe, is a next generation of the new I'll drop some names like Decentralands or Sandboxes of the world, where they were the pioneers with a lot of great ideas, but due to technology selection, they have some limitations, whether it is in scale, in style, or what you can do, right? In case of Earth Twin, any feature that you as a gamer used to play in MMO type of games will be available to you. So no limitations on that. Plus, you will have lots of the FI side of the GameFi opportunities, as I said, through land ownership, through staking that land to create additional income through participating in different events, in mini games, and so on. And everyone who will own the space will be able to either use within the constraints of that space, use that space to develop a certain attractive experience. Could be a concert, could be something more serious or something more fun, or use that as a portal to take you to a beautiful beach or to take you to some dungeon somewhere. So we have done already some work on that, but that's kind of our project where we are experimenting with some stuff ourselves. And some of the tools that we are going to make available to other developers as well, because that's our mission, right? To bring the latest tools and to let everybody develop. We are not in any way we're trying to compete with our clients. This is not our mission. Our mission is really get the latest tools into the hands of developers and see those games pop out.
And Alex, listening to you respond to my question here, I have a couple more that just popped up in my head. One being, are you going to allow, and I think you might have mentioned this, but are you going to allow the transferring of NFTs and land and resources from metaverses such as Decentraland and Sandbox to yours?
So it will be extremely difficult to achieve unless we make some kind of a partnership agreement with one of those companies where we can, I do not know, make something happen, right, in between, because obviously they have proprietary land and ownership of different assets and so on in their spaces. What our platform will be different in one important way is because of the underlying MMO technology that we have. Our platform will allow what we call asset interoperability within MetaEngine platform, which means you can have an avatar. That avatar can have different weapons, can have different vehicles, can have swords and guns and whatnot, and you'll be able, based on the type of pre-selection you make, you will be able to enter different games using that same set of assets, if obviously they correspond to the style or the underlying programming of the game. So you don't appear with a knife in the gunfight, or you know what I mean. So it has to be within the same kind of style. but we are able to provide that asset interoperability between different gaming experiences built on our technology.
And second question that had popped in my head, and I don't want to go too far off on a tangent, but is Endgame sort of integration with VR and haptic feedback in the future, where people really wouldn't be able to distinguish too much the difference between being in the Earth Twin world versus being in real life?
Oh, that's the Ready Player One experience we're talking about here, or the Free Guy, right? Yes. So obviously, as technology develops, as ability, or as a nice kind of the experiences that will be built are going to be a lot of a higher fidelity, so you don't feel sick after several minutes within that experience, right? So as that continues to develop, any 3D world is already 3D world. So enabling VR technologies to be part of that is just a matter of integrating the number of drivers, kind of swapping the display from one type of display to a different type of display, and allowing for that view is something that every modern game engine allows you to do. So that's not a limitation; it's an opportunity, basically, in the future.
Understood. And circling back to Earth Twin, I want to know more about the NFT land sale you guys have planned, specifically how many are going to be available at Genesis, what's going to be the minting cost, and do prospective buyers need to be whitelisted? So give us all the exciting details about that, please.
Oh, that's a little early to ask me about that, because it's actually
okay.
It's not a project that we are currently presenting. It's more of an internal project that we are using to both as a showcase, right? But because there is so much underlying infrastructure work that needs to be done first, like integrating blockchain features, making sure that there is proper management of NFTs, and that there is that asset transferability or interoperability available. We haven't put that on the market yet, and we do not have plans yet. The only thing I can tell you is that even Manhattan itself is pretty large. There are, officially based on New York City website, there are some 150,000 cadastre lots of land just on Manhattan alone. So there is so much in terms of opportunity, right? Anybody that wants to participate or get a piece of action there will be a lot available.
Okay, copy on that. And so now tell us, what do you think, or rather, how many years of experience do you think your team cumulatively has in this industry and building video games, and how big is your team?
So between our engineers, that many of them have on the game infrastructure side alone and game development, we probably have north of 300 years of experience. Yes, there are some people that are not in their 20s. They're more like in their late 40s and mid 50s. But it's some of them have 20 plus years experience on the game development side. So we have, if I were to split the team there is a very heavy engineering side, which is a team of 10 people based primarily in the US, and these are the guys who really are some of the, if not the most experienced people in the whole global gaming industry, especially if we're talking about the scalability, the MMO functionality, right? And then we have a team that is focusing on the blockchain integration and development. That's a team partially based in Dubai, partially in India. And in addition to that, we have also several teams around the world, from US, Ukraine, India. We're looking to expand in Southeast Asia in general, because that's a huge and high growth market for games. Those are the content developers. That's where, as I mentioned before, the highest demand is today.
Understood. And I have a few more questions for you here, Alex, before I start to call on community members. But community members, get your questions ready, get your hands up. Alex, I do see that down the line, you have plans for DAO formation, and I'm curious to know what exactly that means. Does the team plan on renouncing all contracts? So give us a little bit more insight into what your thoughts are regarding that.
So DAO is, as you're saying, you're correct. It's kind of down the line. So one of the core important things for us is actually to first develop that foundational functionality, make sure that everything works, and that our community of developers and the owners of the tokens actually can continue to develop and take care of the engine in the future. There will be some functionality that is going to remain proprietary for reasons not because we don't want to totally disclose it, but because of the high level of expertise that one needs to have in order to continue developing it. But the majority of other functionalities, we're looking to engage much broader community, and we see DAO as that type of organization that is going to benefit the most. But that's kind of medium to long-term strategy that we have there.
Understood. And at a really high level, can we go into details about the underlying token, the tokenomics, and the token utilities with respect to your overall ecosystem?
Yep. So on a high level, token is going to be used as primarily for two things. One of them, and there are many other uses, but first is going to be our developers that are going to pay for the services that they are getting from the platform. Which means, as I said, we are providing all the underlying infrastructure. We provide the server capacity, the networking, all the integrations, blockchain support, and the rest. So that is going to be one important use case for the underlying for the token. The other one will be for currency that is going to circulate within our ecosystem, which means if you are whether you are trading between different games, you are buying assets, you are participating in different staking your tokens, you are trading or kind of let's say NFT marketplace or any other functionality that we will enable, all of that is going to be underpinned by our own token.
Understood. And how can we participate in any private sale, pre-sale that you guys have coming up in the future?
So we haven't announced any private or pre-launch sale yet, and obviously in this markets we decided to take a break, focus on the tech development, and then come back to the market maybe when things calm down closer to autumn time. And we're constantly obviously looking at the market, reassessing the situation. So at the moment, there is no direct way of participating in the token. We finished our seed round in February, right? We raised a total of 6 million, and that is going to be enough for us to go for some time and to make sure that we are able to move along that the development timeline that we have and the deliverables the milestones that we promise to achieve to our investors.
Certainly. And so with that said, how can community members get involved now? People that like your project, they love your vision, they want to be a part of the journey. What would you say the first steps are, both for someone who's trying to currently, let's say someone wants to actually start building on your engine, how would they go about doing that? Or let's say someone that has no experience building but wants to be part of the community, but also wants to be part of the growth of the project. For both I guess folks that I just characterized, how can they get involved? Yeah.
So one way to get involved, I mean, if you just want to obviously know what's happening, Vaishnav is going to share some links to our community pages, so you'll get updated all the time on the news around the product and the platform development. If you want to develop a project and you have a great idea, please reach out to us. Go on our website, metaengine.gg, and sign up, and we'll reach out to you. And I'll explain why just in a second. And the third one, where if you do not have any experience with development itself, if maybe you are a creative individual, as I mentioned before, maybe you can contribute that way to the projects. And we are going to put together a marketplace where you'll be able to list your assets, and potentially, if they are used in games, you'll get paid for that. If somebody else wants to buy them, to own them and then use them in games, that's another way of participating. And the last but not least is basically signing up on the platform when some of these projects that for now we started already development, when those will become public, the announcements will come. Join the community and see if you can participate actively in those projects as simply a tester or somebody that is. If the one big difference between our platform and the other in terms of development is this massive participation from literally the first moment of existence of your project, not of existence of your game after it's launched. No, from the first moments when you sign up and you get your world, as we call it, and then you can give 100 access points to your either your friends or to your followers, and you can bring them into that environment, and they can become your sounding board. They can become your, they can be distractive as well, right? They, if you're trying to work and they're trying to always break stuff that you are making, or give you too much feedback. But there is the way we see the industry changing is that we see, because of the much more active participation of GameFi community, both financially, right, and also from the point of view of ownership of some assets. I think everybody is going to profit tremendously from their much more active involvement during the development itself. And that's Beautiful. where we see the highest possibility engaging the community. You could be giving 100 different access codes every week and bring in 100 of your thousands of followers into that same virtual environment, and just walking them around, showing them what you're doing, and then getting their live feedback and continue building and building. Through this, it's a unique way of actually developing, right? It's like as if you had given a viewing access to the novel that you are writing, right? And you had all these people that could view it or maybe even comment on it, but you continue developing that storyline, and somebody else is kind of you use them as again as to bring some additional ideas, or as a sounding board to what you're doing.
Yeah, Alex, and we're running a little bit short on time, so I want to jump into community questions here. I really enjoyed talking to you. I think you're giving us an insight and kind of letting us look into a crystal ball and showing us the future of building video games. And it's going to be this global collaborative effort to, I guess, put out some of the best MMOs that we haven't seen yet. With that said, I want to get to each one of our investor questions, because we have a lot of hands up, and guys, try to keep your questions high level, but at the same time, feel free to ask Alex as many questions as you like that you see fit, because this is a really exciting project. And Alex, I'm going to say this is one of the more exciting projects we've had on here in quite some time. So it's been a pleasure.
Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So let's start with Western Beast, and then we'll go down the line.
Hi, guys. So here's the thing. I'm actually thinking, I saw this concept of a fully decentralized gaming platform. So if I want to come in as a game creator, I have a game concept in mind. Are you guys going to be the ones developing the concept based on my story? And how am I going to benefit, and how are you guys going to benefit from this game I develop on your engine?
So we do not really provide game development services internally. There are developers that we are collaborating with. That we have some content development inside, but this is not our main purpose. We are not looking to become a simple development shop. So when you have a game, we can connect you with the developers that you will have to convince that that's the right thing to do, and then it will be your project, but it will be based on our platform, which means we are going to take a royalty or publishing fee from the game. Currently, it's set at 10% of total turnover, but that 10% is going to cover all the backend and other expenses that we are running to maintain the platform. But otherwise, it's up to individual developers or development teams to develop their own projects.
Okay, so if I understand it correctly, you're simply going to just refer me to those who you partner with that build these games, right?
We are not, we prefer you to come already with a team and develop your own game. We'll provide you with every single piece of technology that you need in order to do this. But we prefer to focus really on the game development, on the game development platform itself.
All right, thanks. Thanks a lot, Noah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Western. Aisha, you're next.
Thank you, Noah. Okay, I want to know that will you provide any training program for the game developers who will be going to work on MetaEngine so the developers can use MetaEngine to its full potential when developing games?
Yes, the simple answer is yes, and we have currently we have already what we are relying on. It's called Hero Wiki. It's a very large, about 10,000 pages Wikipedia-like environment where from the early days of you starting to do something all the way through really complex configurations that you need to do when you really try to configure massively scalable environments. Everything is covered there with a number of tutorials, some videos that we're going to update. Some of them are a little dated, but technology remains still active and the same. So yes, there will be trainings. At the same time, we are planning to actually use that environment that I spoke about, the Earthwind environment, to use that as a training ground as well, where we can bring in developers and do training classes and provide them also with kind of full game templates, where if you want to build a shooter game or a farming game or an open world, you'll have a set of core features already, everything preloaded in that environment. You'll be able to simply jump in and start hacking around, move stuff around, learn how to work with it, and you will have some of the base code already done for you.
Awesome. Okay, I
Thank
also
you.
want to understand that what will be the recommended hardware and software requirements for running the MetaEngine to develop games on it?
So MetaEngine is relatively let's call it not very high demanding in terms of hardware. Don't know, I phrase it so weirdly. So you can run easily. At home, for example, I still have an old PC from a tower from 2013, and it still runs it perfectly. We did an assessment, and I would say 90% of world computers can run MetaEngine. So you do not need to have the latest graphics card. It obviously helps if you do, but it doesn't. You don't need to have that. And we actually even tried now so you have on one spectrum you need to have a base set of hardware. On the other side of the spectrum, even with the newest M1s, we have tried to run it, and it runs smoothly, but with one little exception that one needs to run a Parallels environment, which is an emulator of Windows, because our development environment is Windows-based.
Understood. Okay, last question from my side. If any game developer want to sell his developed game to any third party developer or game or team, I want to know that how will transfer of ownership work and how will all the upgrading and editing rights be transferred to the new owners from previous one?
So that's a good question, Aisha. So one way is you can simply just give them the access to your environment and let them join you, or you simply hand over that to the new team. The one difference will be is that they will have to take over both the license to the engine and also the responsibility to pay the publishing fee, right? Otherwise, there is, because it's all cloud-based environment, right? You can bring in anybody to either join your team, or you can hand over your access to the world that you are developing, and we will continue supporting it.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you very much for your questions, Aisha.
Thank you, Aisha. Venice, next, please.
Thank you so much, Noah. Actually, I want to know that does MetaEngine has an ability for full real-life scanning of objects or historical objects? So in the metaverse, people can simply scan themselves and can generate a high-definition avatar just like themselves, like 3D avatar creation tool uh, from your MetaEngine, so people can create themselves or any historical objects in like real life.
Right. Thank you for this question, Dennis. So we do not internally inside the MetaEngine have that capability because it's actually not required as when you are doing the development of the environment. So there are other third-party technologies, whether it's Adobe technologies like Max, Maya, or many others, that would allow you to do that, to create those avatars, or to go around and, let's say, using your newest iPhone, scan your house, bring that into the 3D editor first, and then export it, and that way is going to put directly into the repository within MetaEngine, and you'll be able to use it.
Okay, and is this same thing for the sound? Because when people create, actually I see a lot of metaverse projects are launching where people can have events, parties, or in a club house. So for this kind of event, sound effects are really important. So I was wondering, will MetaEngine have the ability to play sounds within the metaverse that change the volume depending on where their character is relative to the sound? So, do they have to integrate APIs with MetaEngine, or MetaEngine has capability to do it?
So we have base capabilities to do this, but if you want something more advanced, then the MetaEngine has. And again, in the wiki, there is a really good section describing how to create an API and integrate any third-party technology. So we've integrated in the past different tech like TeamSpeak and many others in order to enable some of the core functionalities that we did not develop internally, but we are very open, always open to integrate the leading third-party technologies to make the experience richer within the games. So the answer is kind of yes and yes. You can do already something, but if you want something more advanced, you can also integrate.
Okay, that's great. And one last question. I was listening your AMA and I have read the white paper on your website, and you have shown very great features of MetaEngine. But I think to test each and every feature of MetaEngine to make sure that when someone uses it in their metaverse for creating the metaverse, they don't see any issue. So how did you check all the features are working properly? Because I think it would be better to make a prototype from MetaEngine, and then you can convince the people how powerful and unique MetaEngine is. Create a prototype of metaverse by using MetaEngine. So do you have any plans to launch prototype metaverse built on MetaEngine?
Yes, Venice. So this is exactly what we spoke a little earlier when Noah was asking about Earth Twin. Earth Twin is going to be our own in-house, smaller scale, but a metaverse project that will continue to expand because of the underlying tech that allows continuous addition of the content and expansion of the underlying world. So there are, as you say, there are lots of features that MetaEngine provides, and especially the underlying MMO technology. What we can say is that we've had since 2004, when we sold our first license, this was the underlying MMO tech has been used by some of the leading game developer companies in the world. We continue to improve on it, so we know what works, what doesn't. It's actually live on the cloud. We run on all our functionality is being run on the cloud, so anybody with a license can access it. So to answer that other part of the question about building a sample metaverse, that is being developed as we speak.
Okay, and one little question came into my mind. Will there be a specific targeted device requirement for the metaverse that is created on MetaEngine? I'm asking, like, when metaverse is created on MetaEngine, so will there be any targeted device requirement, like users must have these specifications for the devices on which metaverse created on MetaEngine will run?
No, the first release is going to be as if you were just going into any MMO game. So you'll be able to access it from your computer, and then we'll start adding additional features to it. But at the beginning, it will be like any other game that you download on Steam and you try to play it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for answering all my questions.
Yeah, thank you for the questions.
Great questions, Venice. Sayed, you're next.
Yeah, thank you, Noah. So I was wondering that the games that are developed on the MetaEngine, will they be deployed on your own servers? How will that work? And as there will be a lot of games and the metaverse is running on your servers, so how will your servers handle all the traffic so that the user experience is not affected by that?
Yes. So thank you for this question. Really, very insightful. Every game that is developed on the platform will have their own allocation as far as servers are concerned. We have a dynamic server capacity allocation built in. So more capacity you need, more servers will be spun out. The less capacity you need, let's say it's during the night and there are not that many players, they will be shut down and the capacity will be brought back in. Yes, we're going to run all of those servers for all the games that are being built on Metaverse, and the way we will make sure that there is no capacity, let's say, allocation of capacity that is basically taking advantage of the other, or some kind of misbalancing on that, is that each one of the games that are going to run on the metaverse, they will have their own allocation, and then they will be connected through either a central lobby or a central hub that will allow them to transition in between.
Understood. Thank you for clearing that up. Okay, so I also want to know that what maximum resolution will your engine support for the games? I mean, 1080p, 4K, what will be that?
For now, majority of developers are doing 1080p. The higher resolution is possible. It's just majority of developers are focusing on large communities of players, and not all of them have really high quality graphics cards or displays for that matter. So the current prevalence is 1080p.
Understood. So last question, you were talking that developers will be able to import or export these designs. So I was wondering that will the designers be able to import the designs or characters from the third-party software like Autodesk Maya as well?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Over to you, Noah.
Like in any, just to finish off on that, Syed, is like in any game engine, you create your characters, you create your objects in a separate software like Max Maya, and then you import them into your environment, and then you use them for development. So exactly the same approach, with a little difference, is that ours actually has like a repository that can be shared between different environments and games.
Got it. Thank you for explaining that. Thank you. Over to you, Noah.
Thank you for the questions.
Yeah, great question, Sayed. Those are really good. Sent, you are next.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you. I hope you don't mind the background noise. Is it really noisy? Can you hear me?
The background noise isn't so bad. It's your mic isn't so great though.
Okay, okay, but I just got like two questions. Okay, so I just want to confirm: is Meta Engine, is it just like Unity for Web3?
It's when you say like Unity, yes, I can say in a
Yeah,
simple answer,
yeah.
it's yes.
Oh,
But
okay.
what we
Can you
offer,
let him finish, please? Please let
oh,
him
sorry.
finish. He's no,
Oh,
not you, Alex. Then you asked a question, and so
Yeah,
let
yeah.
him
I said
finish responding.
okay, okay, okay.
Go ahead,
yes,
Alex.
so it is like Unity in many ways. If we're looking only at the rendered environment, so building the 3D worlds, virtual worlds, it's very similar. But Unity, for example, does not provide support for multiplayer or massive multiplayer functionality. They don't do certain things that we provide because of the focus that they have on the smaller scale mobile games and our focus on the MMO games.
Great. Thank you for the question sent, and let's go to Essence next.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear.
Yeah. Thank you for this opportunity. I just want to ask. I've listened to you. You have taken your time to, you've spoken so much about MetaEngine, and I have to say that it's a very compact and beautiful project you have put up. Uh, uh, in addition to that, I want to ask a project like this, what are marketing strategies do you have to make sure it goes global? You know, what I mean, it reaches so many communities and people. And again, can you give us a kind of a sneak peek on your Tokenomics?
Yes. So marketing strategy. At present, we have gone direct marketing strategy, which means we've used two approaches. One is we scanned the world of different GameFi Metaverse projects and we approached them directly. The other one was through partners and the investors that have invested both in our project and also in other GameFi projects through big companies that are the protocol companies that have their labs that have given grants to different game projects. So we prefer to speak to them rather than just give a link and go and buy service or something like that. And the reason for this is because the set of services that we offer is really very specific for this highly scalable environments. So we prefer to speak to developers to understand what they're trying to achieve first, and then if they, like I mentioned before, if they want to build a smaller mobile game, we're going to tell them, look, it's better to use Unity for this rather than Hero Engine. Or if it is a first-person shooter game, it will be Unreal. That will be a better solution for this. So we because of the fact that we actually run the infrastructure, we want to have both happy clients, right, and then happy players that are playing those games. So we are very direct and open when we are discussing with them. But for now, as I said, our focus has been going direct to developers, and we've been in touch now with about 500 of them. As far as your second part, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Instance.
Yes, you mentioned players and clients. Now, what I want to extrapolate from there is what benefits would these players and clients have? Like those of them who brings these projects, a project, to you, would they have to get royalties for bringing these ideas, a kind of incentives?
Yes. So I don't know if I understood you correctly, but let me try to answer it this way. So we are just a platform provider of tools that allow game developers to achieve their dream, to put a massively scalable game or experience together. So we are not running some kind of call it a referral program today or anything of that sort in order to bring additional projects, because we do feel like we have a lot of projects that when they know they want to develop a metaverse, they really and we present to them the case, they understand the type of technologies that they should use for one or the other project. As far as I said, there are obviously developers that are our direct clients, and then there are the players that are clients of the actual developers, right? So it's up to each individual developer in the game to market their game, to present it to the community, to raise their own funds, and do all of that.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Your
question,
tokenomics.
Essence. Oh, no, Essence, we already talked about the tokenomics. Thank you for the questions,
right.
buddy.
Thank you.
Alrighty. So let's go with one more question from our guy Describe, and then we'll finish it out with Minstrel David. Just wait your turn, guys, please. Describe, go for it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, my question is about the sustainability of the project and also your revenue model. How do you set to achieve all that you have put in your roadmap?
Oh, Describe. Sorry, the line is really bad. Noah, did you hear the question?
Yeah, I had a difficult time as well. Describe. Let's try one more time, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Let's try.
Okay. I said my question is about your revenue model and then the sustainability of this project. And how do you set to achieve everything you have written in your roadmap?
Sustainability.
So he asked about. I caught that, Alex. So he asked about your revenue model and sustainability of your roadmap.
Right. Okay, I see. So the revenue model, as I said, is based primarily on the royalties. So we are going to charge the developers 10% of their revenue, and that is going to cover all the underlying costs plus some distribution to the community. As far as sustainability, it's our job to basically bring in more developers, help them to develop their games. The more games are out there, the more turnover is going to be. So our general vision on that side and the plan is to have let's say up to 100 developers by the end of this year, and have those develop their games with our help or direct or without our help, but start releasing their games within the next let's say 12 to 18 months, and start generating revenue. In the meantime, we have some services that we are providing, like support, that is going to pay some as far as the revenue is concerned. Plus, we will have the marketplace that is going to kick off in the next probably couple of months. We'll have it live, where we're going to have a little bit a small commission that we're going to charge there. So there are several smaller revenue streams that are going to come through before the games will go live, and then when the games go live, that's kind of the big chunk of the future revenues are going to come through.
Fantastic. And we're going to do one last question from Minstrel David.
Thank you so much. I so much appreciate this. This is a very unique project, and I wanted to also know that the uniqueness of this project warrants its unique problem or threats. Like,
did we get disconnected or?
Brilliant uniqueness is that everything is out there. You have their SWOT analysis. Come here, please.
Yeah, let's David, let's try that one more time.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Let's try it one more time, David.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Every project out there, like as economists, that they have the SWOT analysis, which are the strength, the weakness, the opportunities, and the threats. So I would like you to tell us, as potential investors, what do you consider to be the strength of this unique project? It's very unique. I went through the website. I could see the uniqueness and the
So yeah, let's. I mean, I think we got the general gist of it. You know, what makes your project unique? Kind of elaborate on that if you can for
Yes.
us, Alex. And I'll add to that. Would you say there are other projects in the crypto space that are trying to do what you're doing, and what are some distinguishing features that makes you guys stand out?
Right. So there are. So uniqueness of the project is in real full integration from game engine all the way through all the infrastructure, networking servers, blockchain integration with all the different tools. That's definitely a unique thing. The other unique set of features comes on the game development side itself. There is nobody on the market today that provides full MMO game engine that allows you to build these highly scalable games. And the third part of the uniqueness is the fact that we are open as far as the architecture is concerned. We are open to integrate a number of blockchains. So we are looking first to start with Polygon, and then support other EVMs, and then also integrate Solana. So we will be able to cover probably majority of the games, and the kind of the bigger idea is to be multi-chain or omni-chain type of platform, where any asset, any NFT that you bought independently of on where you'll be able to connect with your wallet, and then have that asset being brought into the environment, and potentially you'll be able to use it in different games.
Great. Well, with that said, Alex, that brings us to the end of the AMA. I want to thank you again for being with us today. I really enjoyed listening to you speak about the project. I don't know anything that's being like this, or excuse me, anything that's being built like this in the space right now. So it's very exciting, and you're very articulate and know what you're talking about, and we're eager to answer all our questions. So members, I would advise you, or encourage you rather, to get involved, join your Telegram, ask away. I think that this is a really exciting ecosystem to be a part of early on. And Alex, before we part ways for today, I want to let you know that I know you guys have a lot coming down the roadmap. So if you ever want to do a follow-up AMA with Whale Coin Talk, I'd be happy to host you. And for our listeners that are tuning in late, can you very quickly give us a quick summary of who you are, what you're building, and why people should get involved with your community?
Yes, so my name is Alex Shalash. I have been in game infrastructure development since 2009. We have started a new project called MetaEngine, which is a platform for development and publishing of GameFi and Metaverse games.
Beautiful. Well, with that said, Alex, I wish you a great week and a beautiful weekend, and wish you and your team nothing but the best. Hope to see you guys building real-time MMOs in the very near future.
Thank you very much. It was really great, amazing questions, and really good engagement on the community side. So congratulations on that. And yeah, as soon as we start, as I promised you, right, ask me in 6 to 8 weeks time. So I think we'll be back with some updates, and I will look forward to your questions, and then I will be able to answer those.
Great. And Vashnik, thank you for being with Vashnav, thank you for being with us today as well. If you wanted to give a closing statement, please go ahead and do so.
So guys, I mean, it was great having being there in the community and answering all the amazing questions. I mean, some really good questions coming up throughout the session. I look forward to having a community with us and see as we progress day by day. So there are a lot of things coming up in coming week. So we would really love to have you all within our MetaEngine community and see how we grow. So it was great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, the pleasure was all ours, guys.